Money making money making money.
Come on, you gotta tell me, how is this even possible?
It's easy. 1, you take your money and you put it in this secret spot. 2, you let that money grow with compound interest. 3, then you find a place for that money to go where it can work for you. 4, and then every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you join me for a wealth webinar.
I'll do it.
It's free. Plus, if you join me now, you'll get my free ebook that teaches you to get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own. So take advantage of this opportunity and I'll see you there.
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact, and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside. Hey, you need to become your own bank. And it's as simple as changing one thing, and that is where your money goes first. I mean, think about it. Household debts in this country are at all-time highs. You got tons of market volatility. You got the potential for Social Security running out of money. You've got global uncertainty, political divide, and you have to figure out where you're going to put your hard-earned savings. I mean, this is one of those times in history where the rich are getting richer, and it is time to learn the secrets of the wealthy. But here's the good news. Every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I put on a free webinar where I teach you how to take back control of your money by teaching you how to become your own bank. So click the link below and let's get started. So let's go into the app, because the app was created after a dating site, believe it or not. So people with money and people that need money. Phone, swipe left. Swipe left. Ooh, I like that one. Swipe right. You want to go on. If you got money, you want to swipe left through all the deals. When you find one you like, boom, you're connected. How much more difficult does this really need to be? This isn't rocket science. They want you to think it is because they want control of your money. It is time to take back control of our money. I want to invite you to a free interactive webinar that we're doing to teach you how to get prepared for what's about to happen and how you can grow, preserve, and protect your wealth and get it ready for a recession or maybe the next Great Depression. So all I need you to do is click the link below. You're not going to want to miss this with all this stuff going on. Are you sick of having your money lying around not doing anything? Well, we've got the solution for you. PrivateMoneyClub.com. Back to you, Chris. So that's what it is. Private Money Club was created for you and for all of us. So I've got something special. Since you're here, you're listening to us talk to you about the infinite banking concept, I wanted to make an offer. Private Money Club is something that will benefit each of you, but we've got what's called the Accelerator. The Private Money Club Accelerator is a coaching program that takes together the knowledge that you'll need to be your own bank and puts it together with the opportunities in Private Money Club so that now you learn and apply the knowledge. Check it out. We got a very special offer for you to be part of the next Accelerator coaching program and get you into Private Money Club so your money starts working for you.
Hey everybody, it's Buff Finance Guy here, ready to show you how to make some serious gains, but not only in the gym, with your wallet too. Most people put their money in the bank doing absolutely nothing for them, but I'm gonna show you how it doesn't have to be that way. So take Andrew here. His money has just been sitting lazy in the bank, but all he has to do is change one thing, and that's where the money goes first, and everything changes. Just change where your money goes first, silly.
Wait, just one change?
Yeah, that's it. Instead of sending it to the bank, you send it to your very own banking system. Your money can grow and get stronger, just like me.
It's time for Money School TV. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
He's been on the fence to come to PMC Money Take. I'm telling you right now, you're missing out on a treat.
This is the ultimate watering hole for lenders and borrowers.
If you've got decent deals, you'll find the funding for it.
The networking here has been fantastic.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Tremendously beneficial.
Oh my gosh, so many people to network with.
First day, I probably met 5 or 6 people. They show me ideas, I show them ideas. We're actually on stage about 20 minutes ago, and since then, I've already had about 20 people reach out.
There are several people that I probably will be doing business with.
I have like 15 private lenders ready to fund my deals. The people here are amazing and so welcoming.
You walk in, everyone greets you right away. No one is a stranger.
It's just an amazing and comfortable place to be.
There's so much stuff that I've been able to learn that I didn't know. I've had aha moments over and over again.
They talked about normal rates of return, not 6%, we're talking about 10%, but in a way that's ethically sound and stable. It's full disclosure, but helps walk you through everything. They even talk about it on stage of like, we've already made the mistakes, so here we are, and we're teaching you to not make the same mistakes. You get to learn from us, you get to just follow our direction and just see what you can do. I've gotten great things out of the virtual events, but there's no comparison to actually coming here, experiencing the energy, and getting to meet all of the people. Everyone is here looking to grow in some capacity. Being in this environment, it allows you to feed on that and foster that.
During the event, they had a lender-borrower meet and greet, which is pretty cool. It's different when you can spend some time, have a meal together, hang out, joke around. The people are just a blast.
It's so much fun.
The community of the Money Tank PMC, the whole crew with Chris, Stephen, Jonah, everybody, and Joe, they've all helped me out. It's been changing my life.
You're gonna learn something, you're gonna meet someone, and it's definitely gonna make a big difference in your business. Not by a little bit, but by a lot.
I mean, you could stay stuck thinking you can do it on your own. There's a lot of people that I talk to is their issue, and then they come here, and I talk to them a year later, and they've grown so much just by coming to this event.
Started at $15,000 in credit card debt. As of today, I have $550,000 out in private lending. That's what this teaches you.
I tell people all the time, you have to get in the room to be around the like-minded people.
Go. It's worth it. Just come. Do it for yourself. Do it for your business.
Take action. You got to do it.
Come to the event. You don't want to miss it.
Well, the biggest thing I hope that people get is something that they can actually apply in their lives. You know, that's the biggest thing for any of these events that we want. We want people to leave here not just riled up, not just excited, but actually going out and doing something that'll put them in a better financial situation, help their family. And for the speakers, my goal is that they go out and they impact the audience and bring something the audience never had exposure to that allows them to then fill in that piece that they're looking for. I'm going to be talking about more lease options. I'm going to be talking about equity shares. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of fun stuff today. Because again, I'm not here to teach about how to do those deals. I'm here to teach about how to invest in those deals.
Filled with individuals that are like-minded, that are at the top of their craft, they're at the top of their game. And for anybody that's an attendee, it's just a mind-blowing experience.
It's almost going to be hard to speak anywhere else but here because it was such a great experience. I felt like, I don't know. It was amazing. Nothing less than amazing, literally.
At the PMC Money Tank event, which is an epic event that we're putting together that does one thing and one thing only, makes everybody money. It brings people with money together with people that need money. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You just smash them together and everybody wins.
Wednesday, 9:30, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Do it live!
Whoa! Good morning. What's up, everyone? How's it going, St. James?
What's going on, Nagy? It's good to see you as always. It is so good to see all of you guys out there in WTF world as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So a lot going on. I know the government is still shut down.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is still president.
Yep.
There's all kinds of protests. I guess we don't have kings. Was that successful? I heard. We still don't have kings in this country. So that's going on this weekend. The markets are still wide open, although gold is pulling back from its hit highs and pulling back down. I saw about 8% down, but the Dow and S&P continue just to keep chugging along. It seems Bitcoin seems to not know what to do. It pulled back a little, but it stabilized. So a lot going on. Quite honestly, St. James, I've been super busy this last week. A lot going on within the companies, within the business, within a lot of new stuff that we're working on. So I haven't really kept a close eye on the news. So I think today's going to be fun. We'll be able to dive in. We'll look at some articles. We'll dig into what's going on. We'll hear your perspectives. I know you're always up on what's happening. So I think it's going to be a good show today. We got anything else you want to add in for our pre-show agenda here?
Oh my gosh, we've got what's going on with China, what's going on with Argentina. We have what's going on with birth rates. We've got so much stuff going on here. Make sure that you and your best friends are all going to be tuned in. Be sure to share this show with your friends because this is going to be a good one right here.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, let's get into what the F. All right, here we go. So where do we start with the economy, St. James? We have China's exports are surging, yet its economy is stalling, a paradox that the rattling global trade. China's domestic demand limps and what that means for the U.S. and global economy. How about we start there? What do you think?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. What's going on is that obviously China is looking to making huge footholds all across the world in developing lots of different industries, emerging new markets, all the way from South America to Africa and even parts of Europe. But internally, they're showing signs of weakness within their infrastructure. And combined with their declining birth rates and some internal turmoils that they're having within their country, it's saying, well, they're building out, but should they really be building in? Some ideas that you may want to keep in mind is, manufacturing and jobs erosion. All right. So basically, manufacturing, is dominated in China, but they have declining birth rates and decreased demand because right now they're facing an economic crisis as well. Not everybody's really making money. We may remember the huge boom that China may have had during the early 2000s to the mid 2010s. But unfortunately, that's kind of waned off. So now as consumer demand wanes off, they're saying we can build all this stuff, but now who the frig is going to buy it? And that's posing a big problem to them right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of looking at this article, just kind of summing up a little bit of what you were saying, China's economy probably grew at the slowest in a year during the third quarter, despite a boom in its exports. A disconnected Communist Party may move to rectify a key meeting in coming weeks. The challenge I've always had with some of these reports and what comes out of China, James, is, it seems like they can kind of say what they want. They can kind of lie. I mean, they don't really have an open market. They don't have they don't have capitalism in a way that kind of, will move markets and whatnot. It seems like it's very controlled. And so sometimes when you see these numbers come out, you gotta take it with a grain of salt maybe, but it is interesting. I mean, as trade tensions escalate with the US, and that's clearly happening. I mean, that's been talking about since Trump took office and announced the tariffs. But, weakness in investment, industrial output, and retail sales is undermining momentum from record sales abroad. Data due on Monday from China's National Bureau of Statistics will show gross domestic product rose 4.7% in the quarter from a year earlier, according to the medium estimate of Bloomberg, down from 5.2 in the prior 3 months. So you kind of see the green line is retail sales. The red is the real GDP growth. And the blue line's the industrial output value added year over year forecast. Kind of see how it's dropping all right now.
Absolutely. Something I think that's important to understand about what's going on with China is also a reflection of what could be happening on with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
We are seeing an echo effect of this massive COVID boom where everybody had money, and now people are slowly starting to come back to reality. And unfortunately, this may be the sobering reality check that the world needs right now if they want to have actual prices come down. New people are going to be are going to still have some jobs, but what will happen is we're going to be seeing some people who are going to have to be hired for new jobs, but at lower rates. So as opposed to somebody maybe getting on for $75,000 for a junior analyst position, maybe they're going to have to go back to 65 or even 60, which was almost kind of pre-pandemic levels, but that will be commensurate with the greater global economy as well. So hopefully this does work out. Hopefully this next few periods of financial uncertainty and instability, and unfortunately a recession, as this plays out and we come through this, will be a lot more stable for it, and we'll get back to those prices that we've really been looking for.
Yeah, definitely. And I see you have one other article on here. I'll just pull it up real fast. China's export boom sparks record number of trade challenges. I mean, it really is amazing how global trade works. Have you ever sat like out at any of those ports and just watched these ships come in one after another, and you kind of overlook the docks, and there's just thousands and thousands of them, and from as far as your eye can see, it really is impressive, like how this world runs, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're an interconnected, globalization type of society right now. And I remember whether I was in the Ulsan, Korea, or in Long Beach, California, you're seeing tremendous amounts of goods and different things being shipped in. And you're thinking, wow, that has to actually be shipped out all over the entire United States. And logistics, well, that's a field I'd never want to be involved in. I feel that we want this to keep happening. We want to keep things coming into our country, but we also want to be selling things to the rest of the world. And hopefully under Trump or any administration, we become a significant player in the manufacturing part of the world, but hopefully it is going to be beneficial for all parties in the society.
Yeah, and like more than half, he's talking about how China has really been investigated, and looking at what they do. Trump's imposed additional levies, but so it's saying right here, more than half of the trade cases against China last year were initiated by developing countries, indicating that Western countries' objections to Chinese overproduction were widely shared. The data showed 170 cases were initiated by emerging countries. World Trade Organization member states can launch trade investigations and impose unilateral duties under the body's laws. The low-cost output from China has even unnerved some of Beijing's closest partners, and a lot of that has to do with they manufacture and they sell a lot of products that they're not safe, James, or what are they going after there? They're not allowing for competition because of their cheap labor and everything.
China, President Xi knows what she's doing. And when it comes to manufacturing, they know, hey, look, as long as we keep pumping things out, we're going to be good because the rest of the world will be dependent on us. And we're going to be touching on that in a later article. But I want to actually bring up a big key point that a lot of people actually overlook, is that China is going to be playing the long game. While we're infighting, thinking about, where we're going to manufacture this, where we're going to manufacture that, China is betting on one key point. They know that the world's population is shrinking. Birth rates are dropping, except for one continent, and that continent is Africa. There's an estimated 2 to 3 billion more people that are going to be born in Africa over the next century. And that's why China is developing infrastructure in those different countries in Africa so that they can make benefit of it. And what they're also doing is they're saying, you know what, let's build up the infrastructure there with our engineering firms using our particular labor. Of course, some of the local people get some money as well, but by doing that, they are going to be able to transition and expand their empire to the African continent and take advantage of the plethora of natural minerals and abundant labor that's going to be available there as well. And I think that all this stuff is just temporary. They know, hey, look, we've got EV cars. We're going to ship those out to Australia, Europe, and within our own country. And in terms of manufacturing, we're good. As long as you guys keep buying stuff, we'll be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Dexter was coming in saying that has been happening since 2020. I've seen truck drivers accepting just over $20 an hour for transportation. He said he started back in the 90s at 21 per hour. So,
Holy moly, that's some serious stagnation. And guys, just as a quick FYI, I believe that the U.S. wants inflation to be pegged at 2.5%, but wages that's not 2.5% growth year over year. We're talking since 2020, and we're now in 2025. That turkey just don't fly. Sorry.
yeah. And China, they have the advantage of playing the long game. I mean, they're civilization, well, not a civilization, a people that have been around for millions of years, where the U.S., we're a couple hundred years old here.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and they look at things a lot differently. They look at things from that viewpoint, and so they're willing to wait generations if they need to make things happen. When I don't know, this was before my son was born, so probably 12, 13 years ago, I got pretty heavy into the Amazon world, and
Okay.
part of that was creating and working with people developing not white label products, but when you take a kind of, what's it called, black label? No.
Well, you got white labels where you're basically buying generic brands and then you put them on your own store.
Yeah,
and
label
you
it yourself. White label.
Yeah, yeah, white labeling. Hey, you're a white labeler. All right, that sounds good.
I'm in the tech world now, and that's a whole different meaning. But anyway, so
right.
yeah,
Nope,
right
same
there.
thing.
So we were real big into that and manufacturing products and putting your name and see what works and all that. And we were at a point we were running people over to China. We had a connection over there, so we'd fly them over there. They'd meet with this guy. He would tour them to the different factories, and they would meet with the people. They decide who they'd want to work with. But these factories basically had molds of basically like really any product you could buy on Amazon. They already had the molds, and depending on who you paid off or kind of how that money flowed, you could use other people's molds versus having to make your own and things like that. It's a very, very shady industry, and Amazon, I will say, takes full advantage of all of that. They don't really regulate it in any way. And it was very interesting. And then from there, people would manufacture their products, whatever they were. And we would do the logistics of helping them get it into the shipping container, have it come over on a boat over to the US, unpack it, put it onto into a new shipping container that would go onto a rail that would take it to the warehouse where it would get unloaded, put on conveyor belts, put into boxes for Amazon. So the whole thing from China manufacturing all the way to the Amazon warehouses. And that was 13, 14 years ago. And it's amazing. So I can't even imagine just how much larger that is even today. But it was an interesting experience.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And here's the irony is that if you fast forward to today, I mean, you were developing your own white labels there. If you fast forward today and you go onto Amazon, you will see how Amazon basically champions their own brands that are no name, and they'll be right up there with the top listings right next to a lot of the name brand products. And the irony on top of that is that a lot of these products are manufactured in the same places. I knew somebody who actually was in pharmaceutical development, and they would get the raw materials from China, mix them up in Canada, and then sell them back to China at triple the price. And I said, how does that work? They're like, well, they don't really trust Chinese made goods, but they do trust Canadian goods. I said, well, that's absolutely incredible to think that they had that own internal bias against their own products. But now we're seeing that the Chinese products that, have these names that you may have never heard of, all of a sudden are gaining prominence in the two major markets, Amazon and Alibaba. You there, Steve? I'm
yeah, definitely. A couple comments coming in. So, Bunny B was asking, hey, Chris, new follower here, trying to get a better grasp on your BYOB strategy. It's all about a whole life policy. What company, who would you advise we go through to get that 60-40 policy? So great question, Bunny B. And that is what we do as a company. If you can see behind me right here, see behind James on his screen, BYOB, it stands for becoming your own banker. And it's a strategy otherwise known as the infinite banking concept, where we basically eliminate the use of having to finance things through the banks and storing our wealth at banks, places like Wells Fargo and Chase and, these big financial institutions. And we create our own banking systems where anytime we need to finance something in life, anytime we need to warehouse our wealth, protect our money, have it grow for the future, create generational legacies for our family. We're creating this banking system that allows us to do all of that. And something that's very popular right now, and James, we might get into that today, is household debt, credit card debt, auto debt is all skyrocketing. It's breaking records. I know credit card debt went over $1 billion. We were talking about a year or two ago on this show. I think it's at like 1.1 or 1.2 now. It just continues to accelerate, just like the national debt. But one of the things we do a lot right now with our clients is using the becoming your own banking IBC strategy. We actually can show you how to pay off that debt a lot faster. And the cool thing is doing it this way, paying off the debt, making it happen a lot quicker than otherwise without this system. You're also at the same time building wealth and creating generational legacy for the future. So it allows you to kind of do multiple things at one time with your money. And it's a really, really cool strategy. So that's what we do. You're in the right place. You can look all over. You're on Chris's YouTube channel right now. So check out, look all over the YouTube channel at all the videos. Also, 1 p.m. Eastern today, you can join us. We do a free show every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern called the Wealth Webinar Wednesdays. And it's all about the financial education topics. And we really focus on BYOB. Today, in fact, we're going to talk about not only the whole life policies and how we create these banking systems, but then how we take that money and we run it into real estate deals. We're going to talk a lot today about the Private Money Club and what private money lending can do for you with an event that we have coming up in Orlando here in just a couple weeks. So you're in the right place, Bunny B. And hopefully you haven't taken too much slack for your name. I know Bad Bunny, people have been up in the arms about Bad Bunny. We'll save that for the end. Let's save that for the end. You want to hit it out. I personally love Bad Bunny, James. I don't know
Thank you.
what the upheaval is, but
oh my God, he's one of the largest performers in the entire world, and people are saying, well, they should have somebody American. They should have somebody American at the Super Bowl, but they weren't saying that when U2 was performing. And big deal. You don't know all the words. Guess what? You don't know all the words to U2. You don't know all the words to Rihanna. You don't know all the words. The thing is, are you going to be able to enjoy the performance by the music and everything else? And word on the street is there's going to be a separate Super Bowl halftime show as well. I don't think anybody's going to tune into it, but somebody's going to tune into it. And, you know, a few people are going to be there. But let's face it, just ride the wave. Just because your favorite artist isn't performing, it doesn't mean that the world is going to stop spinning. Bad Bunny is a tremendous artist. I was a little bit late to the bandwagon. I didn't get on till I think he did a song with Cardi B, but he's actually an amazing story of somebody who's gone from nothing to something. I mean, he was bagging groceries. I believe it was like seven years ago, and now he's the number 2 or 3 artist in the entire world. So that's a real testament to actually like the American dream and what he was able to do at his residency in Puerto Rico. I believe he did a month-long residency in Puerto Rico where he was able to generate tremendous amounts of tourism dollars for the island. And that helped out a lot of people. I mean, think about that economic impact right there, you know, just being able to do that for his home island.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, and for the record, he is American.
Yeah,
right?
Hey, thank you.
I'm pretty sure like Puerto Rico is part of America, guys. So, but yeah, we were just over there this summer, and he was performing over there while we were there, and the island just is a buzz about it. Like they love the guy. He does a lot of good, like you're saying, for the community. I mean, Puerto Rico, unfortunately, is a very poor place. Yeah. It has a lot of rich Americans going there right now because there's a top 4% income tax and no capital gains. So you can basically live there tax free. Where here in the States, I mean, where you guys live in New York, I mean, you guys are paying 50-60% or better after you're paying state taxes and everything. So it's, you know, it's a place a lot of Americans are kind of leaving and going to Puerto Rico. But so it's an interesting mix because you have the very, you know, people there from there are typically, you know, doing too well financially. And, you know, we were sitting at the, you know, I always have conversations with locals, and you sit at the bar and you start talking to people, and it's interesting their view on politics. You know, they're very divided as well. A lot of them, you know, really support, you know, Donald Trump and the Conservative Party. A lot of them are very, you know, hey, and the argument though is, whether Puerto Rico stays like it is today, part of America, whether it breaks apart and becomes its own country, or whether, there's a push, some people pushing it to become a U.S. state. So there's like three different factions of people that don't know what to do in Puerto Rico. So it'll be interesting to see if he brings any of that up at the halftime show, or what he does with it, or just plays music. But at the end of the day, you're right, man. His music is very high energy. It's fun. Like it's good. And if you don't speak Spanish, yeah, you're not going to understand it. But that's the beautiful thing about music, is music transcends
all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it transcends through languages, and it always has, always and forever in history. And so I don't know. I think embrace it, man. Embrace it.
Exactly. One of the things that I found interesting about Puerto Rico, a lot of people don't know this, but as a U.S. protectorate, the U.S. gets its cut off of Puerto Rico. It's a profit center for it. So basically, if you want to buy a pair of shoes, let's say as a Puerto Rican, you live in San Juan, those shoes have to land in Florida first, and then they have to be shipped again to Puerto Rico. Nothing is allowed to be shipped directly to Puerto Rico, which is cause for a lot of their prices being so exorbitantly high. So if they became a U.S. state, well, that would be avoided, and it would lower the cost. But also you would potentially lose a lot of the tax benefits. So that's the exact impasse that you're talking about there. So if anybody else knows some fun facts about Puerto Rico, please put them into the chat. I know we've got a lot of Latin people, Puerto Rican people who watch the stream, and I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about Puerto Rico as well as where I can get some paella.
Yeah, we had a great time over there. It was a really, I was super impressed. So.
You didn't take me like, come on, man, I'm waiting, I'm ready to go.
All right, cool. All right, where are we at? Let's get into what the F America? Is that something?
USA. Oh, let's talk about this. I can't wait to talk about this.
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact, and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside.
My fellow Americans,
USA, USA.
Here we go, man. Here we go. Now I know we got something on soybeans, but we'll come back to that in just a second. We got a lot of comments over here asking about this government shutdown. So let me just say, I got Dexter over here saying, I haven't seen any changes due to the shutdown. People are still moving around. Justin saying government is shut down, but yet America is still here. Didn't burn down. There's no chemtrails. People think that we need government. I think we're doing pretty well without them. So there's that. But yeah, let us know your comments on what you think about this government shutdown. Is it affected anybody you know? Is it affecting your life anyway? I know there are people out there not getting paid, so I know it's going to affect their lives, but do you personally know any of those people? What do you got to say, James?
Absolutely. I actually have some friends at the Smithsonian and a number of different people who work down in DC, and they're saying, look, this is going to be our vacation time. We've gone through this before with with other administrations, other terms of other sitting presidents, and unfortunately it's becoming a cycle of life. Now the question is, do these furloughed employees of the government, are they going to get retroactive pay? I mean, they're still trying, they still have bills, they still have different, obligations to their families. And unfortunately, with this government shutdown, we see how much of a political play this is right now. I see on one conservative feed, people are being served up this particular level of information. And you go to a progressive feed, you're seeing another whole different little bit of information. And now there's infighting between these two parties. Choose what you choose in terms of what you want to say is the truth. But we got to keep in mind, like, look, the government shutdown, I think the longest one was like over 30 some odd days, and we're dealing with a recency bias. Recency bias is where we remember what is happening right now, but we forget that we've gone through this before, and before we've gone through it with Trump's first term as president, we've gone through it with Obama and others, and yeah, we're probably going to go through it again in the future as well. The question is, what's going to become of it, and why don't we have some type of change, actual administrative change, to say, let's do what they're doing over in Europe. If we cannot come together on a budget, then let's have the old budget continue to progress until we can come up with a new budget. Or let's just say, hey, look, guys, if we can't come together as a cohesive unit here in Congress, then we don't get paid either. But good luck ever seeing that happen, right, Steve?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though, but isn't the CR, isn't that what that is? That's a continuation of the existing budget without any additional new spending or changes until they can pass the legislation for, or the appropriations bill, I guess it's called, for the new spending? Isn't that what the CR is?
I have heard hints about that before, actually, as well, but we're seeing shortfalls in budgeting going into November. On a little bit of a sobering topic, I mean, right now we're looking at saying food stamps, they say, may not be available in November, and there's going to be a lot.
Right, without passing the CR, leading into the appropriations bill, which will get voted on, when Congress is back in session. So,
okay,
let me ask this: what is the argument? What's the argument to not sign the CR?
For the CR itself,
why are the Democrats not signing the CR? I'm asking.
Or in terms of you're talking about the budget or the CR? These two different things.
So right now, why the government is shut down is because the government's out of money, and
Correct.
The only way to continue paying people is to sign this continuing resolution, which states that the existing budgetary plan will continue being the same until they can vote on the new one, which they're voting on in Congress back, I believe, at the start of next year, the end of this year. It's in a few months from now.
Okay.
So until they can get to that, the point of, and there was, I believe there's 14 continuing resolutions that were signed during the Biden administration.
Okay.
To keep things moving forward, until they could vote on the appropriations bill. So do you know why they won't sign this to keep things going until they can vote on the actual, do you know?
Thus far, I haven't heard anything about the Democrats trying to hold that up. I mean, if they are going to also say that they're the party of the people, they have an obligation to say, look, let's at least keep the money flowing. Let's make sure that people are fed. Let's make sure that, the country is still able to roll. But if they were to hold that up, the question is why? I mean, we understand the long-term funding may be an issue, but in terms of short funding in the CR that you're mentioning, that's going to be something that should be a no-brainer to continue the funding, unless there's some duplicitous type of plan behind that we don't understand.
All right, so let's look, because I believe it has to do with healthcare and a couple other things. So
yeah, I thought healthcare was for. Sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, I thought it was healthcare was the overall. That's what's holding up the bill, the overall budget bill, not the CR.
Well, right now the government's shut down because of the CR.
Oh, okay. So that's from the ACN.
There's no other bills that are being voted on that are affecting this.
Okay, so it's the credits for the Affordable Care Act. Then that's the whole holdup. Is that correct?
I think that's part of it.
Yeah. So what is being championed on a lot of the progressive channels right now is that the reason why the Democrats are not signing this particular bill for the new budget is that they're saying, look, the Obamacare Affordable Care Act financial government credits for healthcare is going to be cut off. It was part of the big, beautiful bill. It basically said there's going to be no more credits offered by the government for people's health insurance. And Democrats are saying, no, we need people to be able to afford health insurance. Now, the spin that I see on the conservative end is that basically they're saying that illegal immigrants are taking advantage of the medical system. It's costing us $30 billion per year to give undocumented immigrants of the United States to basically give them medical care. Of course, the retort to that is, well, guess what? They're not under health insurance to begin with. So because of that, if any U.S. citizen goes into the hospital and doesn't have health insurance, that also is a strain to the system. But as an overarching need for everybody, we want to have affordable health care. But as long as some of these corporations, United Healthcare, keep having these exorbitantly high healthcare programs, we're going to see that. And unfortunately, this if the healthcare credits are not afforded to American citizens as a result of the Obamacare or Affordable Care Act, whatever nomenclature and wording you want to say, we are going to see people who are going to have monthly premiums jump from $300 a month to $700 to $800 a month. And that will affect no matter what state you are in. So that's something that we do have to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's I think everyone can agree that the healthcare system in this country is vastly broken. It's unaffordable. It doesn't function well. It's a huge problem. I know one of the credits or one of the things that's going to create this increase was due to a law or not a law, but something they put in place during COVID that was set to expire at the end of this year, and that's what they're fighting to keep going. But to me, if they've known about it for 4 or 5 years, they knew it was going to expire. They set it to expire. It wasn't something they made forever.
Right.
Why are they shutting down the government as a poker chip to keep this thing that they knew was going to expire, they expected to expire, to keep the government shut down now, to just put this Band-Aid on this gusher? Why have they not addressed this problem up until this shutdown? Why are we not talking about what the Affordable Care Act did and increased everybody's premiums by hundreds and thousands of dollars? It's a broken system, but it seems like people are just fighting for these little tiny slivers of a Band-Aid on this problem right now. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe it was going to be a political play by the Dems. They're going to say, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and keep the Affordable Care Act credits going. Who knows? And if you're not a fan of the ACA, guess what? I know that this is certainly not going to persuade you in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
I really don't know anything about it, to tell you the truth. I just know that health insurance, when I look at it for my family, is fucking crazy, dude. It's
absolutely
so stupidly expensive. It makes no sense. And I know so many people in that same exact situation.
Absolutely.
So something is drastically broken. I don't know if it's ACA. You tell me, man, but something's wrong. And so how is that not being addressed? Everything I see is subsidies and credits and keep feeding the machine that's broken. Well, how do we stop feeding a broken machine?
There's a duality to this here, Steve, and I wasn't addressing you when I said if you're a fan of the ACA. I'm talking about people across the internets. Let's consider this. I'm a W-2 employee. All right, I'm Joe Blow from Chicago, and I work for a law firm or a major company, a publishing house, let's just say. One of the biggest reasons why I want to work at this W-2 is because I feel that I'm going to have a stable paycheck and I'm going to have benefits. But the moment that I leave that employer, well, now my benefits run out. So to kind of go down this rabbit hole, maybe this is a way that some of these companies have said, look, we know that we will be able to retain more employees by us always having healthcare, because you know what, once you get out into the wilds, once you become self-employed, once you become a 1099, it is a mess out there. It is absolutely bloody. And I believe, it started with Clinton. He tried to get universal healthcare, a single file system, then extended to Obama, and he was able to do the Affordable Care Act. And of course, health insurance profits went up astronomically. And we have to ask ourselves, is this a system that we're happy with? Should we, on either whatever part of the country that we're in, is this something that we're satisfied with? Can we also join all these other first world nations that have some level of a single player system? And it's not to say that you can't have another system on top of it of private healthcare. As a lot of you know, I lived over 13 years in Canada and I paid into the system. And yeah, the system was a little bit slower, but I also knew that there were people who paid a premium and they were able to get quicker healthcare. So who's to say that we can't have that here? But until we come together and stop saying left and right, you and this and that, it'll never come together, because I really feel that the lobbyist groups that have infiltrated the government in terms of healthcare have really staked a claim and figured out how to make profits no matter what. Yeah.
Well, my hope is that I don't know, Democrats come together with the Republicans and decide to fund the clean CR until they can make the change. But we'll see what happens. There are some serious implications, I believe, starting just in a couple weeks next month. If they don't reopen, like Dexter's saying here, food stamps go away. So there's going to be a lot of, suggesting a lot of people are going to be running out of stores, stealing for food, possible transportation robberies. You're probably right, Dexter. So that's a huge problem. Just a couple other comments coming from the audience. The CR hurts the vast majority of Americans is a terrible plan for we the people. It takes away healthcare from over 10 million people. Maybe to Lynn's point, how many of those are illegals and should they get free healthcare? I don't know. That's something people need to vote on. I don't know if it should be part of the CR. It should be called the Non-Affordable Care Act. For the record, I'm politically independent. I don't belong to either party. Okay. I'm mad that the big bill passed. And that's the other thing that the CR does is it does take away some of the things that were passed in the big beautiful bill. So I know that was another part of this not signing the CR. They set themselves up for failure with subsidies expiring. Who do you think pays? Sure. Okay. See.
Yeah. Who do you think pays for it when
who do you think pays for everything, right?
Thanks, Dominator.
St. James made. There you go.
Thanks, Dominator. Good to see you back too.
Rob J says Democrats are blocking the vote in the Senate. It already passed the House. Democrats would rather Americans go broke than work with Trump.
Okay.
Sure. All right. So a lot of good comments coming in. One more. The Dems need the money to pay for healthcare. Even if they use the healthcare on only citizens, the Dems still use state tax money to pay for immigrants' needs. Shauna says, I pay out of pocket for everything, and I'm sure I can come out better at end of the year.
All right.
Yeah, I mean that's a scary place to be in, not having insurance. So if something does go bad drastically.
Absolutely.
Sick care. Well, last one I'll just say the fact our American sick care system is run for profit is frankly immoral. And
speak on it, poet.
That's probably at the end of the day, that's probably a huge part of it. One of the challenges though with everything in the United States is we're such a huge country, James. I mean, 350-ish million people. How do you do things on a scale that large? And it seems that's when, governments become inefficient and don't operate. And so you look at, okay, well, can you make it a state issue? States are huge. I mean, so I don't know what the answer is. Politicians got it tough, man.
Well, we got to look at this. I mean, we have two countries that dwarf the United States. The United States has roughly 330 million people. China has 1.1 billion, and India has over 1.2. And somehow they're able to make their healthcare system work at some functional level. And since America is one of the greatest nations in the entire world, it's our job to be able to figure this out. What we need are less lawyers in office and more engineers, more people who can say, look, let's construct this model so that we all thrive and survive. And that way, this doesn't become such a polarizing issue, but interpersonally.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. Well, I think today's the 22nd day of the shutdown. Will we see the let me do the math, 29th day of the shutdown next Wednesday on What the F? Or are we going to be open back up by then? I don't know. You tell us, but really good comments coming in. I appreciate everybody sharing their thoughts and opinions on that. At the end of the day, hopefully we can figure out a way to reopen so those that are working do get paid, and those that really do need the help in the form of food stamps and EBT and the rest of it, get the help that they need, because I know a lot of people take advantage of the system, but I also know that it truly does help a lot of people.
Yep.
We've heard Chris talk about it. I've heard me talk about it in my past growing up. And so, hopefully those that do need the help can get that help, because it is important that we help each other in this country. All right, cool, man. So let's move over to the next topic. I know we had something about soybeans.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about soybeans, so if you want to lead this part, let it rip, man.
Okay, so Steve, guess what's up? We know that there's a trade war going on with China right now, and China, in retort, has said, you know what? We are not buying any more U.S. soybeans. And for those of you who've been keeping up with the farmer situation in the Midwest, farmers in the Midwest are struggling right now. In America, one of their prime product, one of their cash crops, if you will, is soybeans. So what's going to happen is, if China has not bought any soybeans, where are they going to get them from? Well, they decided to get soybeans from Argentina. And as a result, now people are like, well, what's going on? Like, Trump, do something about this, because we got this massive crop and China's our number one client. So let's hurry up and figure this out. But then something weird happens, something unique. The government of Argentina apparently is on the brink of collapse. And what happens is that the president has said, you know what, we're going to loan 30 and now almost $40 billion with a B to Argentina to help subsidize their economy and help build them back up. Now, there's a plot twist to this, and I'm going to get to this at the very end, so make sure you pay close attention. So the U.S. plans to loan $30 to $40 billion to Argentina. China is going to buy Argentina's cash crop of soybeans. We see that the conflict with this. And now Trump has just said, you know what, on top of that, to help out the Argentinian community, we're going to buy Argentinian beef as well. I'm toying with the idea. It's going to be great. Argentinian beef. And now there are beef farmers right here in Texas and Oklahoma and everywhere else saying, what about the American beef? Where's the beef? You know, Wendy's like, what's going on? And it's throwing a lot of people off. But remember, there's always going to be a deeper play. Argentina sits on one of the world's largest lithium depositories in the entire world. There's actually known as the Triangle of Lithium. It's down there in Uruguay and a few other places down there in South America. And lithium, as you know, is used for battery storage. It's used for EVs. It's used for data centers. And as long as we have these lithium, if we have a cheap source of lithium coming in, well, now we're able to develop our tech infrastructure. So I feel that it is a play to say, hey, look, Argentina, I helped you guys out. I loaned you some money. I helped make sure that you're good in terms of us buying your beef. Argentinian beef, delicious. It comes pre-seasoned. So why don't you set up a favorable trade deal with us where not only are we buying your beef at no tariffs, but also you give us some of that lithium as well so we can develop our battery infrastructure and continue to be one of the world's leaders in the tech industry. And it's that little weave, that little intermingling of losing a little bit over here to gain over here is, I think, the play that this administration has right now.
Fascinating.
Absolutely. It's all interconnected. But here's the hidden punch. China has already moved on from using lithium ion batteries, the things that are in this phone, this computer, and the monitor that you're probably watching this on right now. They've already moved on. They're developing phones and electronics that use silicon carbide so that they charge faster, they last longer, and they're going to leave the antiquated lithium ion batteries in the dust. And that's something that the United States needs to pay attention to, because we have abundant sources of silicon. We can go right to New Mexico, scoop some up, put it in our pocket, and we can turn that into a battery. And we can synthesize carbon. We can synthesize the carbon that you use to encapsulate, to hold these batteries in. I was studying this a little bit too much here. I'm a bit of a science nerd, Steve. Don't tell my friends.
Yeah. I'm glad people like you and Elon Musk exist, because I feel like you guys have a handle on all this going down.
Absolutely.
I can't tell you anything about lithium batteries except that they work.
Right. Right now, China is running heads and tails above this rare earth element race. And I remember it being mentioned in the early 2000s, around 2006, 2007, where people were saying, oh, rare earths, like, what do we need rare earths for? What is it so rare about? What's its function? Well, the rare earth elements that you're going to see more and more and more over this next decade, I'd like to say, is that these are the foundations for our jets. These are the foundations for our electronics. They're used more and more in our digital world. And I know some of us want to say, you know what, I want to step away all from this. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to take another step closer to you. So we need to get on top of this, because China, with its long-term vision, they already planned this out. They have the refineries, and they sit on over 80% of the world's reserves of rare earth elements. Now, lithium is not one of them. But all these other things, I think it's a network of over 30 different elements that primarily exist in China. And America has a small little sliver that's down in Alabama, Arkansas corridor. We have a little bit of a refinery there. And I believe that this current administration is looking to shore up our reserves so that we have as much possible of these rare earth elements to help booster our U.S. electronics production.
Yep. Good stuff, man. I like this comment right here. One reason that many countries are no longer buying U.S. crops, such as soybeans, wheat, and corn, is that well over 90% of the crops grown in the U.S. are GMO.
Ooh, thank you, Montano. Oof. Those are some evil dudes over there, Steve. I don't care what you tell me.
And that makes sense because I see what we pay for groceries, all this organic, non-GMO stuff, and it probably comes from the 10%, which drives the price way up.
Yeah, they know that people are willing to pay a premium for non-GMO things. Like, look at your rice. Look at enriched rice. Enriched rice basically means you take out all the nutrients of your rice, and then you put in an artificial level of nutrients, and then it causes bloat, which is why you can go to another country and you see people who eat rice on a day-by-day basis, and they're perfectly fine. You don't see levels of obesity, but then you come here and you're like, oh gosh, there you go.
I like what Dexter's saying. People in the U.S. will be eating food like astronauts. I remember when I was a kid, you get those little astronaut packets.
Yeah, I remember those.
Those things are delicious, Dexter. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I'm all for that.
Oh yeah, you get your protein sludge just like the astronauts. It'll be pretty cool. I just hope mine comes with a little bit of hot sauce in it, because I don't want no bland astronaut food. That ish is nasty.
Well, I guess in a bit of good news, assuming this chart is correct, eggs are down 86% since the start of March. So if you're an egg eater, that's good news, right?
Look at that drop. Holy moly, that's a huge drop right there. Now, Nagy, do you know why egg prices went up so much?
You tell me.
There was a huge plague that basically covered all of the eggs across the board. There was basically a huge egg sickness, chicken sickness, and a lot of farmers had to throw out their crop, and it caused the exponential rise in eggflation right there.
Crazy.
And
wow, how it's affected, right?
Yeah, a lot of people.
I know we want to hit on on vehicles, but before that, I saw this also on housing, and I thought this was fascinating. So home sellers now, by the largest gap ever recorded in the United States, home sellers now outnumber buyers by more than 500,000 nationwide. How about that?
I like this. I want to believe it, Nagy. I remember us sharing that in our pool of data for topics this week. And this is reported by Redfin. Redfin went out there and they did a study, and they said, hey, you know what? There's a lot more sellers. Show me the money. Just like Jerry Maguire, show me the money. Show me that house prices are going through tremendous reductions. Show me the rest, because Redfin might have been pigeonholing a lot of their data in order to get this particular number. I cannot prove that. I'm personally waiting to see other collaborating sources from either Zillow or the National Realtors Association to basically repeat this information so that we can say, okay, yeah, you know what? This is a true signal of where our economy is headed right now, because as many of us know, Steve, what happens if we got a lot of sellers on the market?
Prices are going to drop, man.
Prices are going to drop. And if we combine that with lower mortgage rates, hey, maybe this will be a return to normalcy that we've been waiting for years now.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. Auto vehicles continue to skyrocket, though, right? We got.
Oh my gosh!
Have you seen these numbers?
Yeah. So while Steve is pulling that up, the average price of a vehicle in the United States is over $50,000. And we're seeing, and I'll just go ahead and tie this into another article that we're going to be talking about. Financing 90-day delinquencies and repossessions of cars are also up by a tremendous amount of numbers. Is that a sign? Is that a flag? Is that to say, hey, look, be smart with your money. Learn how to infinite bank. Don't be afraid to drive a 15-year-old car. Be smart with your money. Look at this, $50,000 for the first time ever. And this is bad news. And this is from Cox Automotive. And this has been collaborated by a number of different other auto agencies out there. But of course, many of them are referring to the Cox Automotive article here. But just take a look around. Now, here's the duality. Ford makes a wide range of different pickup trucks. I mean, what can you get a pickup for right now, Nagy? I know you're hardcore. You drive a Cybertruck?
I don't know. No, I don't.
I'm going to get you one, okay? But yeah, we've got pickup trucks from Ford running north of $100,000. And they are sitting on dealers' lots. And dealer inventory is super high in these Ultra Lux, Limited, King Ranch, Dually to the Thule levels of pickup trucks. But they're not selling. But ironically, the Ford Maverick, which is a about a $30,000 pickup truck, they can't keep these things in stock. So we're seeing that there is a mismatch in the market. Yes, of course, Ford is going to be able to make huge profit margins on your King Ranch and your Laramie and your platinum trim F-150s. But the workhorses, the Mavericks, no pun intended, are the ones that are keeping the lights on. Those are the ones that they make a little bit of profit, but they move a whole lot of units. And this is before any type of dealer markdowns or anything like that. So they're actually going to make money on these things. So we're seeing the blind spot in our auto manufacturers by not providing affordable options early enough in order to meet the market demands and the budgetary constraints of the American population. I don't know about you, man, but I'm looking forward to a new vehicle, but I'm not going to be able to get a King Ranch anytime soon.
Yeah, don't get in over your head. I mean, that's happening to a lot of people. This report's just coming out a few days ago, last Friday. Finances are getting tighter. U.S. car repossession surge as more Americans default on auto loans. Wall Street sounds alarm over strain through car lending market as experts warn of potential risks for wider economy. Alarm bells are ringing on Wall Street. The recent collapse of Tricolor, a used car seller and subprime auto lender, and First Brands, an auto parts supplier, have put the finance industry on edge almost 2 decades after problems in the subprime mortgage lending market set the stage for the global financial crisis. When you see one cockroach, there are probably more. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan Chase CEO, anonymously cautioned analysts this week. He's always got a good little quote to throw out there. But after the U.S.'s largest bank disclosed $170 million charge tied to Tricolor's bankruptcy, everyone should be forewarned on this one. So we're starting to see some of these little building blocks start to fall on this big old massive
signs. We're seeing the signs. We're seeing the signs. I mean, I don't like being a doom prophet. We certainly should not be doom prophets, because once the public really buys into this fear, the VIX index and all this volatility, guess what? It just becomes it goes from a highway to a runaway train. And we're on this billboard. I mean, on this highway, we're seeing billboards. Cardboard manufacturing, boxing is down. Shipping and transportation is down. Auto delinquencies are up. Home foreclosures, I don't know how those are looking right now, but that could be a very interesting thing. We're seeing signs of a potential true market recession. That we're not talking about what happened on Liberation Day back in April. We're talking a true recession where we see a reduction in GDP and we're seeing a reduction in actual hiring and unemployment. So the question is now, even though we are in Q4, you, the informed public, you people who are the 1% and 2%, the people who want to stay awake, the question is going to become, what am I doing right now to prepare for this and to at least shore up and put the boards on my windows so I'm not caught up in this financial hurricane. And those of you are going to set sail and be able to take advantage of this. And that's what BYOB is all about. We learn how the way money works, so that we can take advantage and be protected when financial storms hit.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here? Is this the silver?
Oh, it's just pulling up the markets, just seeing how they're opening today. Dow, NASDAQ, all the major indexes are down a little bit.
This is our second day in a row, too. This is 2 days in a row.
People are asking about gold and silver. There's been a little, pullback from the all-time highs, but that happens. I mean, it's literally all-time highs in the history of gold and silver. And so anytime that happens, you're going to see a little volatility at the top. So you can see it bounced all the way up to, where were we at? 4,300. We've kind of pulled back to just under 4. I mean, I could see kind of 4 being that floor for a little bit. It could drop back down. I mean,
absolutely
hard to say. Everything's at all-time highs right now, so it's just got to kind of be careful there.
You know what, Steve? I've actually heard some mixed signals coming out of Florida, and you being, the governor of Florida right next to DeSantis.
That's right.
Is some people are saying that Florida, everybody is leaving there because it was just the COVID boom state. And then other people are saying there's more people moving to Florida and everything's just business as usual. So with your own peepers, with your own eyes, what have you seen in your neck of the woods? Are you seeing more for sale signs up? Are you seeing completely abandoned subdivisions? Are you hearing about financial distress from homeowners just from your particular community?
It feels like Florida is always one of the last to crash.
Okay.
So I've been seeing it in a lot of other parts of the country. I will say that it seems to be there's more houses for sale. I don't know the actual data. I haven't looked lately, but just anecdotally speaking, it does seem like things have slowed, but it seems to be like that across the country right now. I don't see Florida quite yet being abandoned. People are definitely moving here. It's getting busy. Season's coming right now, so it's hard to tell because all the snowbirds come back. So we see a lot of that happening right now. You get these big 18-wheelers with the cars loaded up on them. Unloading the cars because people are coming back down. So you can see the restaurants starting to get busier. It's already happening, and we're in October.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, you know what is going to be happening in Florida? November 7th and 8th, or 6th and 7th, of the Private Money Club. What do we got going on with that, Steve?
That's right, man. I can't believe 2 weeks from now we've been putting a lot of work into this event. But yeah, Orlando, Florida. If anybody's still interested, we do have some tickets for sale. If you can't make it to Orlando, I'd recommend getting a virtual ticket. We're going to live stream the entire event. But you can go to privatemoneyclub.com/money tank, and you can learn all about it. We've got a cool video that'll play from past events. But yeah, November 7th and 8th, it's right there by Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. And grab a ticket. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And it'll be my birthday. So all of you guys are going to be invited to my party. I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely awesome. My birthday is actually November 4th, but since that's a Tuesday, I decided that I'm going to celebrate while I'm down there. In Orlando, that's my second home, my third home now.
Election day is your birthday. You guys are gonna elect a socialist for New York City mayor, huh?
Well, we'll see how that goes. That's going to be quite interesting. Mamdani is definitely a polarizing individual.
Let me ask your opinion on this. So right now, there's a lot of calls by the Democratic Party for what's the Republican guy, Swila to drop out, so that way they can vote for Cuomo instead. I mean, Cuomo. I don't like the guy anymore either. Cuomo didn't seem to be the best governor you guys ever had. Didn't he take a lot of flack for not handling COVID very well, for some sexual claims, misconduct claims, things of that nature?
The moment he truly lost my personal vote was when the sexual misconduct came up. The dude seems to be like basically a traditional old school scumbag, and that's all I need to hear about him. Yes, he definitely didn't need to leave all those people who are in nursing homes. They didn't need to be passing out and having that rate of mortalities. I think that was a tremendous mismanagement of Cuomo. So the New York City public is faced with these two options. You either have Mamdani with an untested social program that needs to play out, that should play out, or you've got Cuomo, who's basically the status quo.
And Swila, who's a wacko, right?
All he talks about is how he got shot 5 times.
Yeah.
Hey, Swacko, did you ever smoke marijuana? He's like, well, after I got shot 5 times, yeah, I smoked up.
All I know is anybody that wears a hat like that, I just can't take serious. So I try and listen to the guy to where did he come from?
But he came out of nowhere, and maybe he's just trying to get a tax write-off so he can tell his friends, hey, look, I ran for mayor. It didn't work, but big deal. You know what? I got my name out in the public, and everybody now knows I got shot 5 times. I'm basically the political 50 Cent. So I don't think he stands a snowball's chance in hell of winning. Mamdani has a tremendous amount of support, and living in New York City, you got to understand something. This is one of the most historic cities, if not the most historic city in America in terms of how many things have happened out there. And we see the polarization of ultra wealth versus ultra poverty in New York City. It could happen within one borough. You can be in Brooklyn, you can be in Queens. You can see the dichotomy. So when people are seeing all this upward mobility, not even upward mobility, just upper status, and you're down here, you're like, what the heck? Like, what are we doing wrong? But with the rate of high rents, with the rate of housing unaffordability, and now we're coupling that with food deserts and all these other particular situations, people are like, look, if I'm going to catch up, if I'm going to have some type of equity within the system, I'm going to need a little bit of a handout. And I know a lot of people, they really don't like that, because handouts means, hey, big government. Handouts means, hey, you're taking from me to help you. But their system, the higher end system, doesn't work without other people being able to afford that. We're seeing that in San Francisco, where homes cost $2 million, but the people who clean these big businesses, the people who clean these homes, can't afford to live there. So then who pays for these people to have these to clean these people's big houses? There has to be some level of balance in the system. And maybe Mamdani's going to work. I hope that he does. He's well-spoken. He seems to know his stuff. He's been speaking circles around Cuomo in that debate. He made him look silly. And I urge you guys to look it up just for your own entertainment. I know all of you guys out there in WTF land, he may not be your favorite candidate. I know he's definitely not Chris's. But just for your own education, for you to be able to form your own opinions, I sincerely encourage it.
I've listened to him, and I think he's batshit crazy, and I think he has no fucking business being a mayor of any city, let alone the biggest in the country. But that's my opinion. Now, I will say, when you mentioned like the unaffordable areas and things, I mean, the question really becomes like, do you let the market figure it out and let people, or do you have government come in and put a bunch of regulations and rules and laws and have the government try and control every aspect of your life? And which way, the best of both? I don't know. Like, that's the question though, at the end of the day.
Here's something to consider, Steve. I was thinking about this last night in prep for today's show. We have to think of the government, the United States, as a pendulum. Sometimes our needs are going to be more progressive. Sometimes the progressive move too fast and break things. And we have to move to a more conservative mind state, at least until the ethos, till society is able to kind of catch up and meet in this gray area, this miasma that we all coexist in. And right now, with the level of Marxism that we have, Marxism says that socialism leads to communism, communism bad. We also have something with our current market, and that leads to a corporatocracy, where basically the corporations run everything. And I know you guys hear me bash so much on corporations here, and I want to have a free market system. I enjoy the free market system. But right now we're seeing such a sway into what we have now, moving into a corporatocracy where these corporations secretly control huge facets of the government, that we're seeing that now we need people to stand up and say, well, now the government also needs to stand up and protect the people from all rungs of the society, from this level of society, from the different corporations. Is that going to be the answer? Right now, we don't know. I do like capitalism. I'm sure, obviously, Steve, you do as well. But when there is a huge discordance with the markets, when we're seeing that, $50,000 cars are just sitting on lots because corporations did things wrong, when we're seeing that our electric costs are going to go up by 30% because of these massive data centers that are going up all across the United States, and it's going to affect everybody's energy bills, who is going to stand up and protect the people of this country from these corporations who are now consolidating tremendous amounts of power that will influence all Americans? Look at the Ellisons. The Ellisons are looking to buy TikTok. They are looking to buy Discovery Warner. And they also own a slew. Larry Ellison and his son are owning a slew of different media organizations. I have to ask you people in watching this in WTF, and please, I want everybody, I don't care if you're taking a poop on a stoop. I don't care if you're in the middle of work. Yes or no, do you feel comfortable with the American royal families? And I'm not, that's no sway to Trump or anybody else. I'm talking about people like the Ellisons or the Soros family, who actually backed the No Kings March. Are you comfortable with them having that level of influence on your day-to-day life? Let me know in the comments below. Yes, no, whatever. Okay, because I would like to use that.
Yes, I don't think anybody's comfortable with it. I just don't think anybody knows what the answer is to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I just love to hear what answers that maybe somebody in our audience does. I'm looking here at Shane Hollinsworth. Don't data centers use clean energy like solar panels? You know what, Shane? That would be awesome if they did. But because the energy demands are in gigawatts and terawatts, it's enough to actually fuel New Orleans for an entire day, what some of these data centers use in just one day. And what is happening is we also see here that the government subsidy for solar panels has been cut back. That was helping out America gain its energy independence. We are also seeing Microsoft is reopening 3 Mile Island nuclear facility in order to be able to power their data centers. We are also seeing Tesla. They opened up several data center outside of somewhere in Tennessee, the city. I don't know if it's Memphis or Nashville or Knoxville, but it's right next to a low income housing area. And he has about 14 diesel generators that are operating right now that are polluting the entire area, and kids are getting sick. So these companies are draining a lot of energy for us to be able to do a search on our phone or replace our entry-level jobs with AI. I'm not too comfortable with it. And I hope that all of you guys, if you have answers to this, please let us know.
All right, good stuff, man. Well, it's definitely a great discussion. It's an interesting topic, something to think about, and we're all watching all this stuff play out in real time. You know, what's going to happen in a couple weeks in New York City? What's going to happen next year in the midterm elections? What's going to, or not next year, right? 2 years from now. Man, Trump's only been president for 9 months. It feels like a lifetime.
You know, it has been boring, hasn't it?
Next presidential election, we're all here watching it happen in real time. Hopefully the world makes it that long. There's so much going on across the globe, so much going on in the markets right here with our own national debt, with household debt, with the stock market, the disconnect, like we talked about vehicles, James, and everything else. Hopefully the government can get back on track, gets funded, and opens back up, and people get paid. I don't know. A lot going on. A lot what the F moments today for sure. But we appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate you guys tuning in, listening to us talk about these a little bit, trying to learn from each other, learn from you guys, learn from various sources. And we'll be here each and every single week. So, James, take it home, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into WTF. We are here each and every single Wednesday where we talk about all the things that happen throughout. And if you have a friend, family, or even an enemy who would benefit from watching us, make sure you to like, subscribe, and share so that we can provide a greater and greater audience for you guys and more topics. My name is St. James. That's Steve Nagy. Guys, we'll see you all in Orlando in a few weeks.
All right.
All right.
Peace.